Okay, I believe that we are live. So, welcome to Tamarah's Closet today. Today is actually pretty special for me because it's actually the first time I've had a hip-hop artist on my show, so I'm pretty excited. I've had so many musicians and artists, but never a hip-hop artist. And so this man he really has an amazing background in his field. He's not just a musician, and he just didn't roll out of the garage, rapping, but he's actually truly has developed his art by working with some really, really great people, some of the best. And he has so many other talents too. He's a photographer, he's just got that edge over your average musician because he's also a photographer, and in the 90s he worked as a set designer for films such as Strictly Business, Fly By Night, and Who's the Man. So he's also performed and collaborated with a hip-hop group called Jungle Brothers on their album Raw Deluxe, JBeez Wit the Remedy, and also he was background vocals for one of ShowBiz and AG's albums. And he's actively moving and grooving on Facebook. I see him on Facebook all the time. He's posting stuff constantly in a group he calls Kev Hutch's Underground. So this man he just has so much going on. I'm not even going to hesitate any longer about bringing him on. So I want to introduce you today to this extremely talented hip-hop artist, Kev Hutch. So Kev, say hello so I know that you're with me.
Hello, everyone. How you doing, Tamarah? It's a pleasure to be here.
Yeah, I'm glad we got all our little technical issues worked out too. That's always a good thing. Well, I just want to go right into asking you, because you've got so many different things going on, Kev, that I wanted to just go ahead and ask you right into the questions, because I know that you moved to Harlem back in the 90s, and I think that I'm guessing this is somewhere around when you worked on those 3 films that I named as a set designer. How did you land that opportunity, and where is that taking you? How has it helped you in the world of music?
Well, my mom, she basically couldn't handle me, so she was like, "Look, you're gonna live with your father." As soon as I moved to Harlem, I started to broaden my networking, and I met different people in different aspects of the business doing different things, and the experience and the knowledge that they taught me has guided me on a lot of the routes that many find obstacles in the music business, as far as publishing, learning the arts, and putting out the music and catering to the correct audience. It's truly helped out a whole lot.
Now, when you were doing that set design, what exactly did you get to do on those films?
Well, a friend of mine named Ruth Ammon, she lived in the neighborhood that I was living in Harlem, and she had us scout scenes out. We would go around the city looking for areas that would fit particular scenes that would be developed in this film. Whether it was a barbershop, so we looked for abandoned buildings. In the set design, we would basically build a barbershop in the desert, and people would see it on screen and would never know that that was a desert, but they would just be seeing a barbershop. So that's what our job was to do, was to go out and look for scout these scenes in these areas through the city to make it accommodate for the film.
And I would think, now see, I think that would be fun. Is that kind of how you got into photography? Would you take photographs of these scenes and bring it back to the producers, or?
Yes, to the set design managers. We would go out, we would scout areas, and we would take pictures, and within this picture we would have to have a visual eye for what the other artists were about to create as far as the set. If it was a wintry set, we would have to, if it was the summer, we would have to look where somewhere where would be appropriate scenery that would fit the correct scenes that they were looking for. So
Right.
I guess, I mean, it gives you a creative eye, because then you're able to look at things in a different manner than a normal person would see them.
Oh, exactly. I mean, I think that would be I think that would be a lot of fun. I really do. I worked on movies some years ago, but it was doing hair and a little bit of makeup. So that was
Hmm.
totally different. But I think what you did, I think that would be fascinating to do, to get to be involved in that. So was this after you went to Bronx Community College? Because were you studying music in college or
Um,
film or?
well, in Bronx Community College, I went for a trade as far as like building maintenance and construction, because I wanted to learn the whole construction, building a house from the ground up theory. And when I learned the set design stuff, this was before I went to college. I was still in my prime, about 18 or 19 years old.
Uh-huh.
And I mean, it also kind of bridged the gap with construction, because we were dealing with building the sets from scratch. Um, Sort of like a home interior decorator would do it, designer.
Right.
So we would, sheetrock, lumber, couple of hammers and some nails, and whatever the production assistant or the set designers had in their blueprints was what we had to build.
Well, I think that would have been, a lot of fun and actually a great experience in itself. So, what was going on in your life during this time as far as with the music? Because I read in your bio, you said you were the last breed of the heavy mental EMCs, and that you had collaborated with the Jungle Brothers, I know, on Raw Deluxe, and I had read they were actually the ones who fused jazz with hip hop. Where was music headed during this time, and where were you headed?
Um, this was the era where they would have hip hop culture had something called b-boys and b-girls, who were specialized, in dance and in the arts of hip hop. We were torn between the street drugs that were going on in the city at the time, and how I ended up to get to the position I was at was I was still running around the streets, but also trying to perfect my creativity. I was still learning. I was working for Dapper Dan, which was a clothes designer, so I was still behind the scenes, seeing a lot of the artists and understanding the messages that they were giving. And I was confused as an artist with the message I was given. Do I follow the trend, or do I create my own trend? So at this era in time, this is what I was trying to develop myself as an artist.
Because you said it was the heavy mental, and that was actually the name of the debut album of, what was it, Killer Priest?
Killer
Were
Priest, yes, from Wu-Tang.
Killer Priest, yeah. Were you tied to that album in any way, or?
Um, he's been a part of the documentary that I've been working on. We'll get
Uh-huh.
into that a little bit later, but his theories and ideas I embraced and I enjoyed, and I felt there should be more artists that were like us. When people look at hip hop or rap music, they look at it at one standpoint, that the pants sang hanging down. There are intellectual hip hop artists out there. There are people who do not do the gangster music or the booty shaking music. It's more universal, and there are a lot of people who want to hear conscious. They want to hear political things or things going on in the communities put into art form, and it's just not enough of us standing out. So when I say heavy mental, is heavy mind, heavy creation, heavy thoughts. I kind of grasped onto his idea and created my own foundation for what I do.
Okay, like a deeper, the music was taking on a deeper meaning.
Yes.
To what was going on. Now what is the, so I'll understand, what is the difference in the terminology when you say rap or hip hop? Is there a difference?
Yes, there's a huge difference. Rapping is from a great quote from KRS-One. Rapping is something that we all do. You know, we put words together in the form of poetry to express how we feel about different things. Hip hop is the culture. Hip hop is dance created by the Zulu Nation. It's the culture that embraces music, creativity, and DJing in all aspects. Clothing. So that's basically the culture of hip hop, you know, that was created. Rapping is just a part of it that kids love to do, but they don't want to understand the rest of it, you know?
Okay.
Because rapping is fun.
So the hip hop part is more the culture and the, well, I know because I took hip hop classes. I learned some of the hip hop dance moves, but but I didn't quite understand what the difference between the two was when you say rap music or hip hop music.
Yeah, rap music is basically going in the kitchen and taking anything and throwing it together.
Okay.
Hip hop is more of the elements, the true elements. You know, having a DJ with vinyl on stage, performing tricks and scratches that take skill. Rapping as well can be combined in these elements with understanding of teaching, guidance, you know, in words, in understanding. Rap music itself has just taken a different toll because people look at just the rap aspect of it. They don't look at the elements of the hip hop itself.
Okay. No, okay, I do understand. So what was going on? What events were going on that prompted you to produce this documentary that we were going to talk about from the underground up with Kev Hutch? I know you had the Beatnuts on there, and I watched some of it. The DJ Boogie Bond and M80, the Jungle Brothers there. And what I got was there was like a concern going on in the hip hop world that there wasn't maybe like much flavor, so to speak, in the industry, that anybody and everybody was doing it maybe, and there wasn't really anyone standing out to differentiate themselves to being more unique. Is that what was going on that prompted that documentary?
I was actually on the streets in New York, in the Village, selling my album on the streets that I created myself. Staples was my distributor because I would print my own CDs up myself, do my own artwork, and I felt at the time, with all the history that I've had and seen in the business, a lot of the mainstream artists were giving the watered down version of how to create this element. I linked up with a friend of mine named Elizabeth Moore, who did most of the filming, and we went around and talked to different publicists and DJs, which were friends of mine in the business. And I wanted to give out to people that anyone can create hip-hop music or just any genre of music with just some thought and idea. You don't have to have fancy cars. You don't have to have jewelry. It's the power of words and creation. So I created all of this from scratch without giant companies behind it or someone, you know, famous faces behind it. I wanted to start something on my own. And it just kind of fell together to pieces, and I wanted all the artists to give their aspects of what they thought was the future for hip hop music or rap culture, you know. And a lot of things people were doing were just repetitive. It was the same thing. 30 songs, different artists, all saying the same thing, and it's not fair to the listeners or the mass that was not getting good music. They were being programmed. So I wanted to put something different out there. When everyone was going left, I went right.
Yeah. Well, I liked it, and I thought, you know, that was kind of the message that I got, was that, you know, that nobody was really standing out, and and you know, so I enjoyed it, and I think I shared it. I believe I did on Facebook yesterday, but I noticed also that through all this, you've had a lot of wonderful opportunities going on for you in New York. And I mean, I know that's a great place to be for what you do. You had some radio promos on 98.7 KISS FM in New York City. And New York City's Hot 97, and then the DJ Red Alert show, was that the other one, which I know?
Yes.
These promos, they're what, to help raise interest, right? To see if a single's how it's going to do once it's released. Is that right when you do these promos, or?
Yeah, I was basically at the point where I had linked up with some professionals, David Williams, Jungle Brothers, Red Alert, rest in peace to the great Prince Messiah, and we was trying to, as well as promoting his show, or the shows that these promos were on, as well as Stretch Armstrong and Bobbito in the 90s. We wanted to find beats that fit the criteria for who I was going to become. I created something called Chicken Heads in the era when Snoop was calling all the women the B word. So I wanted to be funny and humorous about it. So I created the Chicken Heads or Chicken Lover type thing with a friend of mine named Kareem Smith. So we put all of this in emphasis on the promos that we put out, to get a feel from the audience, to create a background for myself, to establish me as an artist as well. These are some great guys that I worked with that are still around, and they're legends. And I had a great opportunity of learning from them to have my feet planted to where I'm at right now.
But what do you mean when you say the Chicken Lovers? Is this?
It was a name. I would say as a young man, it was kind of foolish, but I thought it was funny. But it was a name that we used to call women who were,
the women.
Yeah, women that were out there, I would say. Out there giving themselves away. We would call them chickens because we would say they were easy instead of being disrespectful, calling them the B word.
Okay, yeah.
So we thought maybe, you know, and then it led from chickens to another group calling them pigeons. And this is just a thing that, not disrespecting all women, but it was just something that we called in our neighborhoods because we didn't want to use the word, you know, like dropping the F-bombs all the time. You know, we thought having skill was to use different words, to use vocabulary, which a lot of these artists that are out now aren't doing.
Right.
That's why. So we called ourselves masters because we can flip the technique. We're the last MCs that flip the technique without curses, getting our words across and expressing to where grandmothers can listen to the music, to 2-year-olds or 3-year-olds can embrace what we're saying without saying one curse or being disrespectful. That's the last breed of MCs.
Okay, yeah. No, that's great. I understand. Okay, yeah. That's actually a very good message. So this is what was going on when you were doing these radio promos. Was this what led you to put out your independent albums? Is that how that started when you moved into that?
I felt I was being blackballed or blacklisted within the industry that wanted me to cater to repetitive music. I wanted to, I learned the elements and I wanted to show what I can do, not what someone was trying to tell me to do or what they felt needed to sell. I knew what I can do to make this work and to make it sell. I didn't want to listen to what they wanted to tell me. I wanted to do it on my own. And I'm still kind of blacklisted because most of the things that they want me to cater to as far as, you know, the music itself, there are things I don't do. Like I can make 10 albums or 7 albums with no curse words and produce it all myself, like many other artists are doing. But within the industry, there are no artists doing that. You know, they don't want to show the creativity aspect of it and clean music. Most of the music that we're being fed on the radio stations by corporate radio or even some underground stations is all repetitive music, and they don't allow stuff, conscious stuff like what I do, to come in because they feel it's not what the audience wants to hear. And
So they,
yeah, they're kind of created their own audience when I'm actually reaching out to people who are normal people, who are the real audience, not just something what was already sitting there. You know what I mean?
mm-hmm. So you're taking it and kind of creating your own language, even in the music, where it's, I guess you could say it's cleaner. Like you changed, so you started calling the women the chicken lovers or whatever, and then, right? Am I getting this right? And then
Yeah.
you're doing the music without all the profanity that even your grandmother can listen to it, and so that's what you're saying. It's like you're moving into your developing actually your own style, and they're trying to do this other thing because they think that's what people want. But you know, I think there are a lot of people out there that would love your version of it, I think, so to speak, that are, because you can appreciate the hip hop and the culture and then the rap music and all that, but you might be someone who would take offense to some of the language. So to me, what you're doing is you are opening up a whole new type of viewer that actually would have loved hip hop all along had it been a little bit different, you know.
Well, this idea that I embraced has come from many other artists similar to myself. I just stuck with it. I was determined by pushing it, and I opened up a bigger door for what we call underground music, because the type of stuff that we do might not be professionally studio quality because the artists don't have the money to pay for that. But now with technology, we've bridged that gap. And now the artists are able to come out and do the same thing and get their music out there and don't have to cater to one specific audience because it's not hardcore music all the time. There are intellectual people that listen to different things, you know?
Right. So
And I wanted to represent that half, you know, that majority of the people that are not speaking for it, who are not saying it, who are afraid to say this to the industry. And I just wasn't afraid to do it. I felt it, some people might say it sounds cocky or ego, but with all the experience from the age of 17, you know, I've have enough experience and knowledge to build my own foundation. So a lot of, you know, corporate radio or other artists kind of shy away from what I'm doing, you know?
right. So what was going on like like with your family during all this in this transition in your life, because you said you left your mom because your mom couldn't deal with you. You moved in with your dad, and has your family been supportive for the most part of where you're going, or?
Yeah, it's been pretty difficult because I had a few groups that I've started with since for the last few years, you know. A group I had with family members and friends from school called Darker the Berry. We did a lot of shows, but it was my family has been pretty supportive. A lot of people's been supportive towards what I do. Where my avenue changed was having the ideas from everyone else. Everyone wasn't on the same path or had the same ideas to reach the same goal. Everyone wanted to get to the goal, but had their way of doing it. I didn't rule out anything. I wanted to try anything, like the way the old school artist was. I didn't care if it was a backyard hole in the wall. If they had a microphone and a turntable, I was going to go there if there was people there. I didn't I tried not to let alcohol abuse a lot of the things or drugs like other artists. I wanted to stay focused and reach for my limit when a lot of people that I was on stage with wasn't focused, or they were smoking or drinking too much. And to this point now, a lot of my friends aren't doing anything anymore, or most of them are holding on to old things. I've continued to push forward, and the door's still open for many that want to be a part of me. But yeah, I had a lot of support through the years, through family, you know.
That's good. Now, did anybody in your family have, were they musically inclined? Where did you get this creative talent from? Were your parents in the music industry at all, or?
Yes, I believe my father managed Ray Charles or Chucky Booker back in the day. I'm not really too
Wow.
sure. He was in a group himself, and it was a huge musical influence in my home. Like my older brothers, they didn't do rap music, but they knew how to rap in the beginning stages of everything. When hip hop first came about, they were around. So I would hear them doing it. I always wanted to be the background guy. I never thought that I would be reaching the limits that I've done recently with the things. I just did it with my eyes closed.
Yeah. Now, you have how many brothers?
It's about 14 of us.
Wow, really?
Yeah.
And so they have had music. You've all had, several of you have had music background
Yeah.
then. I mean,
Uh-huh.
you've gotten it, and your dad did. So
Yeah.
that's pretty amazing, actually. um, but it
Um
sounds like you're the one that's really seeking it out right now.
yeah, I got discouraged about 10 years ago when I first started to do the documentary. And I got discouraged because a lot of my friends were inside the business and weren't able to see the talent within me. So I guess, you know, some people would say, I guess they're haters or whatever, but some people aren't in positions to hand others opportunity. And that's how I looked at it. I wanted to create opportunity for everyone. You know, even if I wasn't signed by a major record company, I wanted to open a door that would be granted an opportunity for all walks of life to come into it. I've seen a bigger picture while they've seen a smaller picture, but they're still doing their little shows or, you know, radio things that have them being productive and to continue on their legacy. But I wanted to open up a bigger door. I wanted to get everyone involved who wanted a piece to be, even if they weren't good at the talent, to learn and explore their horizon. Let them be the judges of what's good, not someone telling you on Twitter, yo, this is the best rapper or the best hip hop artist, you know?
Right, right. Well, it gives music such a great way for everybody, just like any art form of art is such a good way to express ourselves. And so then, you know, giving someone an opportunity to explore like that, they can find out what their strong suits are.
Mm-hmm.
And to me, it's such a getting involved in creative outlets like that when you're young is crucial for just developing yourself as a person, I think. And
One thing I also must say to a lot of the viewers that out there and people who want to get into music, my aspects at that time, from all that I've learned, was when I created a demo, it was catering to impress the A&R for that particular company. My eyes later on down the road showed me I don't have to impress an A&R. They're not the ones that's supporting what I'm doing. The masses is the ones that's listening to my music. So if I'm catering to trying to get with one specific record company, means that I'm catering to their style of music and what they want to do. And that's just something I didn't want to do. I wanted to feed the masses. I knew if I listened to if I made a song last night and it was good and it felt good to me, I knew that everyone would like it. You know? And that's what I wanted. I didn't want to go to a company and say, oh, well, I got to let my boss hear it, and then I got to let the boss's boss hear it, and then I'm really just impressing them. At the end of the day, when I could be feeding my music out to the masses, you know? So when people look at the record companies, you know, they should keep their eyes, you know, their independent minds open, you know?
right. No, I agree. Your bio says that you do motivational speaking about the hip hop movement and culture. I'd like you to kind of tell the viewers a little bit about this, and do you do this when you say you do the motivational speaking? Do you actually, is that done through the music itself or through speaking engagements that you book, or both?
Pretty much through both. You know, when I worked with an agency called HAI, Hospital Audiences Incorporated, based in New York, and basically what we do was, and this is the first time I've ever said this to many people, so they're actually gonna learn something.
Okay.
I usually most people go to clubs to do their outlets for their music. I wanted to cater to a bigger audience. I wanted to go to group homes. I wanted to go to senior centers, psychiatric centers for kids, and give them see a real person coming from the streets, from what their walks of life was, and discuss how I became successful at what I do. So I travel around the country doing this, and then it started to branch out to around the world. And I always say when I do these lectures that you don't have to go to a club to cater to one audience. That's like I was saying with the A&Rs. You don't have to go to one specific route when there are many routes to do this. There are some of the music that they play on the radios are not played in these facilities that we go around. You know, these kids are not getting proper music. So when I come there, I give them some music, real art, real talk, real person, real conversation, and help them to try to build the same thing that I have, which is easy, you know, a couple of friends getting together, you know?
Right.
And that's how everything came about.
Well, I think that's great. I mean, I think I can tell that you're wanting to make a difference, and you're developing your own style and doing things that to encourage other people to get involved. And so I kind of wanted you to tell, I guess I want to know a little bit more about Kev's Underground, because I've also, you know, I know you've got two different undergrounds and underground groups, and I'm not sure what the exact difference is, but I also found this picture of you with some trophies here, some plaques. So tell me about what's going on here, and then a little bit about you know, your different underground groups.
Well, at the time I was selling my music in the streets of New York, and this picture is basically my award for the documentary that I put together. It was the first film that I've ever worked on.
The
The
one that I
first,
saw, the one that I was
yeah.
talking about. Okay.
Like I was saying, Elizabeth Moore. She's great. She's she's director and camera person on the film. We connected and put this film out, and the next avenue was we needed to either sell it on the streets, which we would only meet individual people, or we could get online and try to get a mass of people. So basically, we connected all these different sites from MySpace. Thanks to MySpace, who definitely kind of linked everything, which opened the doors. And social media. Social media has opened a huge door for what I've done around the world. When I was in New York, it was like a closed closet. I was only catering to a specific people, and my message wasn't getting out there. I couldn't really express myself in the positive things that I was saying in a club with drunk people. Not saying that I'm condoning anyone, but on a fifth of Hennessy, they couldn't hear my message.
No,
So
I understand.
I had to take it to a different route. That's why I say intellectual, heavy MCs. And when I got on the internet, Kev Hutch's Underground, I wanted to bring people in to express everything they wanted to do from every culture around the world. And it just started to open up bigger doors. I kept it as a secret group because I just didn't want spammers or anyone just coming in, because then it would take out the creativity from other artists. Because then if it was that easy to join, everyone would join. So I
Yeah.
wanted them to search for it. You know, if you want to empower yourself and you want it that bad, they would find it. And that's what it is. It's been doing great. And there are on Google Plus, there are groups, Tumblr, I mean, pretty much everywhere. It's like over 1 million of us right now. I even had to check the numbers today. It's like maybe I think 1 million or 1.5 million right now.
In the underground or
with all the pages together.
with all the pages? Wow.
Yeah.
But the one underground is concentrated more on is related to the documentary, and then okay, that's what I thought.
Because now you see it, the documentary. I didn't want to show too much of myself. I wanted to, even though I created it, I wanted to use that to let artists express themselves. Other artists that I filmed in the film. But it kind of went good, but they're kind of the mainstream artists are so busy that they overlook that, because they could have had an opportunity to post their stuff, their creativity, the things that are going on with themselves, but I kind of still kept it balanced. The one on Facebook, the other group, was more for everyone that was friends of mine, to add friends of friends. You know, it could be social media, I mean, socially talking, current events going on. So I wanted it to bring it a different avenue from the underground. So I got like a maze of roads of different pages for different things.
Okay, yeah, I know, because I've been on that one. That's when you have a lot of the street graffiti, which I love. I love looking at that. So I know that was it. Now you're also going to be doing a part 2 to this documentary. What is the focus going to be about in that?
I'll just say this. The first one was basically my struggle and the views of the legends in the industry, and people getting the aspect of how to put music together. The second one is going to be behind the scenes and business aspects from great artists in the industry. And we're not talking about mainstream artists. We're talking about the entrepreneurs that help organize deals for all the artists that we see on the television. Because when we see one artist, it's really 50 other artists behind them, promoting, hairstylists, physical trainers, you know, and this is what the part I want to get, so people get a real aspect of how this business actually works.
So we're going to see more behind the scenes in the part 2.
Yeah.
Sort of, right. Okay. So what and now what about your latest, your album, The Future Is Now, and then we've got, now I don't have it out here, but I have The Roses in the Wasteland. Those were I think your most current, is that right?
Yes.
For this year. And what's the message behind these two? Because I noticed this, you did the filming in this, was that North Dakota, or was it North Dakota?
Minnesota and North Dakota.
Yeah, okay.
The Future Is Now basically came to me through frustration. I kept hearing people, again, like with repetitive music, repetitive ideas, constantly talking about what happened in the past. I wanted to show, and I believe it overlooked a lot of people, I wanted to show what hip-hop really is, what underground artists really are doing. We're producing our own music. We're not using samples like Pharrell in his situation. We're using raw instruments, raw, you know, we're coming together with just a thought. And this album is an example of future conversations, you know, not what happened yesterday or today, but what's happening seconds from now and tomorrow, setting the foundation for more artists with their creativity, filming their own stuff, drawing their own covers, doing their own artwork without the company machine funding it, you know? The future is now. This is the future for what future music is going to be.
Now, what about Roses in the Wasteland?
Roses in the Wasteland was filmed by Carmen Ross. She linked up with me to do some photos. This is my girlfriend that's helped me out a whole lot. I just wanted to do something different. Mm-hmm. I wanted to express an idea that everyone was searching for something beautiful in something ugly.
Yeah.
And I found the roses in the wasteland. As ugly as people can say rap music is, or hip-hop culture can be, or in any genre of music, I wanted to say I found peace in all of this. I happen to all the confusion and all the stuff we see in media where they say that hip-hop artists and things are going on. I happen to found peace in this, and I wanted to show everyone that through music, that it can be easy as long as you stay focused.
Well, I like the message, I do, and that's why I asked, because I'm a big, I love roses, and you know the whole thing about the roses is you've got the beauty of the rose, and then you've got the thorn there, you know. So
right.
It's a very symbolic flower to begin with on so many levels. So I liked your title. I mean, I liked it. I liked the whole concept. So
right.
I did. So now I noticed you're going to be collaborating on a project with a friend in Russia that you were talking about, and it's an animated film. I wasn't sure I understood what all this was about. Can you tell the viewers more about this project? How did this come about, and what do you have to play in this? Because it's literally an animation. What are you going to be doing with that?
Well, I happened to connect with some friends when I was touring in Russia, and they had some great ideas, but didn't know how to connect with the mass audience. I loved their ideas, and we kind of like reached out to each other and showed each other different projects that we were interested in. They were interested in my projects. I was interested in theirs. Uh, I've seen some pre-production of the animated film. I loved it. I thought it was great, and I think that it would be a next level or a different route for what's going on in music, in hip hop, or just the arts itself. So we're looking for like funders to help us, put it out on a mass level, and to help finish the film. We didn't look too much to a Kickstarter, but I will be directing and editing and producing it, and hopefully, we'll see more of it coming soon.
Yeah, so it's like an animated hip hop video is what it is, right?
Yeah. It's
okay.
going to be a movie though. We want
But
to
yeah,
try to develop it into a movie, but it will be an original and one of its kind. It's just another door opener that we're doing here on the Kev Hutch team here. I can't
yeah,
really give myself the credit because a lot of these artists, I just help them explore their ideas, and I bridge the gap to help them out. I don't want to
right.
say I take too much credit for anything.
Well, you're very talented, and I was going to ask you where you really. I mean, I know you got a lot of camera equipment. Where is this role in film production headed for you? Is this something you're wanting to work toward more over the next, say, 5 years, more of film production? Is that something that, because I know you have Kevin Hutch Films and you have the
Chicken Lover Music.
Chicken Lovers Music. So, I mean, are you wanting to have more of a concentration on the film part?
I would say it's sort of like being a chef. Matter of fact, I would even say it's sort of like being a bodybuilder. Sometimes you gotta work different aspects of the body out. I don't want to stick to I do production as well. I make beats. I don't want to do that because inside of me I want to do some rapping too. And then inside of me I also not want to do rapping. I want to be behind the camera. So I'm kind of like feeling everything out. I just kind of want to be a master of trades in what I do. And I want to leave the doors open in everything as far as the Kev Hutch Films or the Chicken Lover Music, just to help other artists. If I come across someone, I will have the household name there to open the door for someone who's, working hard and consistent with what they want to do.
Right. Well, you're going to be a bridge to help a lot of people transition from one level to the next with all your different skills and talents. So I think that's very admirable of you to even want to take the time to do that. And I think it's something that people need today. They need that support system, and they need someone who's willing to open doors to them like that. So that I really commend you for that, Kev. That's really great.
Thanks.
That's really great. Now, social media has been just such a game changer for not just musicians. It's just in all areas, all vocations, everything. I mean, I stress to people all the time in posts that I make that it's been a game changer for people who want to go after their dreams, and it's a huge window of opportunities. It's opened for everyone in the world who's willing to take advantage of it. How has it changed things for you? And you sort of answered this question a little bit already, but what advice would you give to someone in the, even if they're not in your genre of music, but just in musicians or any of the talents that you have, how's it changed for things for you, and how would you advise someone to take advantage of that? Where would you direct them to go to get started?
So how it has changed for me was I had a lot of people tell me most of what I was doing wasn't good. Those people know who they are that are out there. You know, they was telling me it wasn't good, the quality wasn't good, the sound, and I gotta repeat it. They said to me the quality wasn't good, the sound wasn't good, I needed better producers, and they were just giving me their opinion. I was hearing a one-sided, which some of it could have been better quality, but when you don't have the resources to do that, you have to do what you got to do, you know? And that's what I did. I did what I had to do, whether the quality was good or not. Some other artists that I've mingled with, they maintain that industry look. I didn't want that industry look as far as, you know, other people in the documentary. I wanted my own look. I reached out more and more to social media, and as I watched their responses, their audiences is to one specific, catering to one specific group. I cater to everybody. With social media, I'm able to reach out to the masses, to everyone. I get people who like it, I get people who don't. I get people who give me so many different opinions. But at the end of the day, I'm opening doors for people who say, I never listened to hip-hop, or like yourself, I've never really looked at hip-hop. I look at it differently now, you know? It's not just the rap music and culture, it's hip-hop culture, you know? Social media has opened its door and bridged groups that have been established in Bosnia, Russia, Japan, Canada, Texas, Louisiana, you know, teaching them and understanding what hip-hop culture is and creativity. And this is the audience that I cater to, open-minded, free thinkers. And it's just getting bigger every day. Like, even to this point, sometimes I can't even control it. I have LMK who edits a lot of my videos, and she never went to school for any of this. We kind of taught her all of this from scratch. Anyone can do any of this. You just have to be consistent and have the mind to continue pushing forward. If you want it, you keep going. You don't stop. You know, you got to live the dream, become the dream, be one with the universe. The future is now, you know?
That's
and
right.
For other artists that are out there, you know, utilize the social media, you know, reach out to people, you know, reach out to positive influences, you know, Tamarah's Closet, Kev Hutch, you know, people who are bridging things together through culture, who want to see positive, you know, and that's what it's all about. You know, sometimes you got to put your drinks down, you know, put your doobies down a little bit, you know, and just, you know, live, take a breath of fresh air, pet some horses, see the universe, you know, turn the TVs off and be one, you know.
Right.
It can
Well, you're
happen.
right. Well, it certainly has. It's made it so that we can reach out to people that we never before would ever have exposure to, and at the same time, it's like you said, you're also going to get exposure to people who are disapproving, because unfortunately, with the good, so comes the bad. But the good far outweighs the bad, I think, with social media today. It's totally, with the internet, just in general, has given us opportunities to do things and open doors that we never could have opened before. So I think what you're doing is great. You're reaching out and you're helping others reach out, and that's the name of the game, you know.
Yeah, we want to see change. Like you and I do this. You know, you have your show as well. You know, we want to see change. We want to see different artists, not the same artists. And I don't want to call any mainstream artists out or the same actors. We don't want to constantly keep seeing the same one over and over and over again. You know, there are many things going on. You know, I've never walked through a rose bush and seeing the same rose. They're all
Right.
different shapes and sizes, different petals. They might all look the same color, but some are off color, some are, you know, everything is different. We should have that same variety, you know, as
Right.
for artists and musicians that are out there, you know. There's nothing wrong with giving something a chance, and you know, social media gives us that opportunity to reach out and see these things, you know.
It does, and you are taking advantage of it, and I'm glad that you are. I always like to see people who are not afraid to go after their dreams, and you certainly are one of those people that is not afraid. So that's fabulous, Kev. And I actually hate to wrap this up, but
Yeah.
we're gonna have to end this. Is there anything else you want to tell us today, Kev? Have you got anything else coming up that we need to know about, or?
You know, tons of projects. I have another video coming out called Planet Jumper. It's going to be an amazing video, much different than the last 20 videos that I've done. So this one is big shouts to LMK, more camera work by Carmen Ross, and just a ton of projects over and over again, you know, the different aspects, different ways, and I hope everyone is reaching out to the world. You know, we need peace, love, and unity, you know, and hopefully everyone around the world, you hear this. We got to come together as one, you know. We got to live here together now, so we got to always keep each other smiling and keep each other happy.
That's right. That's right. Well, I want to thank you again for being here today, Kevin, and
Thank you.
letting me pick your brain a little, and allowing everyone to get to meet the man behind all this talent, because you certainly are talented, and you've got a lot of different projects going on, but you know, they all mesh together. It all makes sense. So, and I think I've got this. Where is this the best place for people to find you, as far as on Reverb Nation and SoundCloud? Is that right?
Yeah, those are perfect links. They can find me there, iTunes, CD Baby, or anytime Google Kev Hutch, and those are perfect links for good music, and they're free downloads too there, so y'all can get some free downloads. And support your artists. Support the local artists who are trying to struggle, who do this themselves without record companies. We're not selling billions of records or thousands of records. We're doing this ourselves. You know, show your support, you know.
Absolutely. So stay tuned for the viewers to my upcoming blog article on Kev in the next couple weeks, and I'll have all these links in there as well. Plus, you'll be able to see them on the replay of this. And so don't hang up on me, Kev. I'm just going to say goodbye here. Also, so I'll have that blog coming up. Also coming up in Tamarah's Closet, I've got a bikini model competitor who has written a cookbook, and she's also actually a pilot as well. So that's Kathleen Hefferman, and she'll be coming up soon in Tamarah's Closet. And then later this month, I have a fabulous sculptor and artist from Cape Town, South Africa, Janko De Beer. I hope I'm saying his name right. And so just stay tuned to Tamarah's Closet for more great live interviews. And thanks for joining us today. And have a fabulous weekend. And take care. And I'll take us off, Kev. And I'll see you in just a second. I'm just going to